teams just coming onto the ice for warm-ups. The Pointers come into this game an impressive 27-0-2. The Pointers need just 2 more wins to make D3 hockey history. Now the path to a title game won't be easy, though. The Statesmen you see here behind me, they beat SUNY Oswego 3-2 in the quarterfinal game to make it to this point. Now coming into this game, they had a 21-7-2 record.
News Channel 7's Bailey Harbit has more on the Cardinals.
For the second straight season, the Newman Catholic Cardinals made it to the state semifinal game, and for the second season in a row, they'll fall just short. Now, the good news with Daniel's injury, it's not a season-ending one. That's not the case for linebacker Nick Perry. The team announced today they've placed him on injured reserve. They also announced they've moved up defensive lineman James Looney from the practice squad to the active roster. Yeah, that's right, Jeff. And in his obituary, Tucker Westfall is described as a kind young man who loved his family, friends, and sports. He was on the football, wrestling, and baseball teams at Athens High School. Now, as they prepare for state, the Athens baseball team is trying to cope with the loss of not just their teammate, but a good friend. With the final out in Tuesday's sectional final game, the Athens Blue Jays baseball team secured a return trip to state. But after the initial celebration, the mood shifted to something more somber.
Most teams celebrate a lot, they're really happy. We were happy, but also bittersweet, sad that he couldn't be there for that, and just needed to do our best, and we did.
Just 3 days earlier, their teammate, 15-year-old Tucker Westfall, was killed in a UTV accident. For his teammates, it's been a tough week. But with his jersey hung in the dugout, they say he's not forgotten.
It's almost like we had 10 players on the field at all time. Tucker was always out there with us, and it's kind of what we all told each other, too, before the game.
While a loss like this might have caused other teams to fall apart, in Athens, the players believe it's helped them grow closer together.
I'd say that we're bonding very well over the loss of Tucker. Obviously, it's horrible, tragic, but our team's coming together because of it.
And as the Athens community rallies around them, other teams are offering their support as well.
Pittsfield was very, very gracious. The coaches came over on Monday when it was a tough day at school here, and they brought a basket full of stuff, peanuts, Cracker Jacks, all kinds of baseball stuff, and it was a real classy move.
The Blue Jays will now turn their attention to the state baseball tournament, taking Tucker with them on their shoes, hats, and jerseys. They say winning it all for him would be the icing on the cake. But if things don't go as planned, it's not likely you'll see this team complain.
Right now, if we go and we give everything we can and we play our best game and we get beat, I don't think anyone's going to walk off and say, well, I think it's going to be okay. Under the circumstances, I think things are put more into perspective.
For most of the day, the Lac du Flambeau multi-purpose building sits unoccupied, silent. But when 5 o'clock rolls around, fists start to fly. For a few hours a day, boxers both old and young come here to train. Some are just starting out, but others, like Jerome Tomes, have been at it for longer than they can remember.
I was kind of the kid that got picked on a little bit, I guess. For a while, I was kind of smaller than everybody. I don't know, I kind of had some older brothers that I looked up to. Well, not older brothers, one was an uncle. But they were kind of my brothers, so I looked up to them, and I kind of got in the habit of wanting to do that kind of stuff.
The Flambeau Indians boxing team has produced state Golden Glove winners and regional Golden Glove qualifiers. They frequently go toe-to-toe with nationally ranked boxers. Some, like 14-year-old Alex Brisk, are nationally ranked themselves. In January, Brisk competed in the National Silver Gloves Tournament in Kansas City.
I got pretty nervous because there was people from all around the nation coming. And they were supposed to be the best, but I lost my first fight. But I still got ranked 6th in the nation.
But the coaches and boxers here say there's more to it than winning bouts and belts.
This is a positive place where the goal is becoming healthy.
I think it's one of the greatest things that we can have on this reservation right now, because there's a lot of bad things going around, bad influences in town, and it just kind of, along with the frustration part, getting rid of your frustrations, it just gets you away from using all the drugs and, you know, just getting in trouble with the law.
Boxing can be an expensive sport. The coaches here often pay for team expenses out of pocket and through fundraisers. But it's all worth it to see their fighters compete and make the most of the opportunities that come their way long after the final bell.
When I step in the ring, I go in there to win, obviously, but all that matters is I stepped in the ring.
At a gym in Eagle River, Wisconsin fullback Austin Ramish is preparing for his chance at a career in the NFL.
I decided right now with my life that I want to try and play in the NFL, so I'm just going to go all in with that. It's not just going to happen. There's a lot of big months coming ahead and stuff, so I'm just going to work as hard as I can to create an opportunity for myself, and hopefully it goes the right way.
In just 9 days, the former News Channel 7 All-Star will play in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, his final game as a college athlete.
Hopefully I use the fullback. If not, I'll try and get on the field. Maybe as like an H-back or tight end or something. Play a lot of special teams and just kind of try and stand out in practices and in the game.
Wisconsin's season of success allowed Ramish to display talents he's had since his days at Northland Pines to a much wider audience.
There's a lot of exposure that comes with playing on a team like Wisconsin, and I was just lucky enough to be on the field at a lot of times this year.
And practicing against the stellar Wisconsin defense has only made him better.
I always say I get to practice against one of the best defenses in the country every day, so that helped a lot even before the season started.
Even though he's got his eyes firmly fixed on the future, there are still things he says he'll miss about playing for the Cardinal and White.
At fullback, number 20, Austin Ramish.
Playing at Camp Randall, I'd say my best memory is the first time I ran out of the tunnel, with my family there, and that was a pretty emotional game. Even though I didn't play, I was redshirting, but I'll probably never forget that.
But if Ramish has any say, he'll run out of a tunnel once again, but as a player in the NFL. Reporting in Eagle River, Bailey Harbit, News Channel 7 Sports.
Bailey Harbit joins us now with the latest on Rogers' condition. Bailey?
Dale head coach Mike McCarthy said in a news conference today that the team is still gathering information about Rogers' knee injury. He wouldn't say what the injury was and said no decision has been made about Rogers' status for this week. No, that's the thing. It was kind of shocking for a lot of people, but like you said, writing really on the wall on this one. Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy explained the decision to do so in his press conference today, saying he would have liked to have waited until after the season was over, but yesterday's performance was unacceptable and was the final nail in the coffin. Well, Heather, it was really that game on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. They were favorites in that game and ended up losing 20-17 to Arizona at Lambeau, something that they hadn't done all season. Mark Murphy, president and CEO of the Packers, called the team's performance unacceptable. How many high school kids can say, yeah, like, I have a sandwich named after me? Like, no big deal or anything. I mean, I don't even have a sandwich named after me. I'm a little jealous. I'm not going to lie. If there's any restaurant out there that wants to name a sandwich after me, shoot me an email. We'll work something out.
The Bailey.
The Bailey. My parents would be so proud. I think that's like the first time in quite a while when we've asked that question and it hasn't been Post Malone. So way to go, Haley. I really dig it.
Really expanding things there for us.
Isn't he a clothing designer? J. Cole?
I think you're thinking of J. Crew.
Oh.
Those are a little bit different. Yes, and it's something that we thought we were maybe going to have to deal with for this show. So I actually spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours drawing my highlights out. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we actually will have video. You can see here, this is Marcus Howard.
This is Marquette versus Murray State.
Yes, you can tell this is Marcus Howard because he has a beard. John Morant has a mustache. So that's how you tell those apart.